a video on this dried papaya that I picked up. So it was in the local supermarket, and I'm always curious about finding different things to put in a rich fruit cake, like a Christmas cake type thing or a wedding cake type thing. So I kind of thought, maybe these will be nice in a fruit cake, or if they're not, I mean they're dehydrated, so they've gone a little bit. They've gone like soft, dried out and then soft. So we'll be able to use them in a cake. They're nice. They're certainly going to go into a cake. Well, I mean, it says dehydrated diced papaya, but really, that's like candied peel, in fact. So I was thinking that I might have to do something with that to make it a little bit softer, but that's delicious, and that will work in a fruit cake. So I was thinking that I might have to, if I was going to have to candy it, it's going to be like a long video, but that's not going to be a long video, so we can incorporate this with something else. So then, in the same supermarket, I bought some Jaggery, because I thought, well, maybe we could use Jaggery in a rich fruit cake instead of the sugar as well. So let's have I've never had any Jaggery, so let's have a look at some Jaggery and see if I potentially can use this in a rich fruit cake as well as part of the sugar substitute. I did have a knife, have it prepared and all that, you know. So let's carve some of this off. Think what potentially we could use this for. That's delicious, is that? That's delicious. Now, have I got any soft I've got any dark brown sugar? No, I haven't got any dark brown sugar, but I've got some soft light brown sugar. So do they taste similar? So Jaggery is nicer. I think we'll be able to use that. I think we'll be able to smash that up, and then we'll be able to use that as a sugar part, or part of the sugar, maybe not all of it, in a rich fruit cake. Yes, that's what we'll do. So I'll be making cake in a couple of days, so we're back when we're making cake. Right, let's make a rich fruit cake using this Jaggery. Now, I have been thinking about this, and I kind of think that my slight concern is about maybe this isn't like a 100% pure sugar. There might be a little bit too much liquid in there compared to normal sugar, so that might kind of affect the cake. So I'm going to do it in. I'm going to do a comparison. So I'll do 2 cakes made with the Jaggery, because I'm going to make 4 cakes. I'll make 2 with the Jaggery, and I'll make 2 with the light brown soft sugar. Just as a kind of comparison. Now the eggs that I'm using as well, although the farmer sells them as mediums, they're more like large as well. So that kind of might have a little bit of an effect on the cakes as well. But we'll see. There's always a bit of a tolerance with cakes. So yes, and we will use up this dried papaya, which is more like candied fruit. And then we've got some dried sweetened cranberries as well. So I think they'll be nice in it as well. So we'll use those as an experiment to use in the cakes as well. We'll split, those between the 4 cakes that I'm going to make equally. And then I've got this fruit, these blueberries that my friends gave me from their blueberry gin, to use that as well. And then the rest of the fruit will be made up of just cheap sultanas from Lidl. Now this was my other thought. So if this Jaggery, we'll have a look at the the butter and the sugar are creamed together. We'll do a bit of a comparison then. But I kind of thought if it doesn't work, I have got another Jaggery, because I always kind of think, well, let's just buy two. So I have got 2 lots of Jaggery. So I thought if it doesn't kind of work, it might be down to the liquid. There's excess liquid in the Jaggery, but we can kind of compensate for that in the future by using a ghee instead of butter, because there is liquid in butter. It's about there's about 15% worth of whey, like a liquid in butter. It's not a solid butter, whereas ghee is. So we could kind of compensate for the excess amount of liquid in the Jaggery, if it is, I don't know yet, by using something like a ghee and kind of cut down, still put the same amount of solid fat in, but just kind of like deduct out 15 grams per 100 grams worth of butter stroke ghee. That's not making any sense. But you know, this isn't a what if. So we'll cream together the butter and the Jaggery and the butter and the sugar, and then we'll have a look, and then we'll just kind of combine everything together, keep it separate, and then make it into some cakes. Oh, and I haven't got lemon. For some reason I forgot to buy lemons, but I have got oranges. So instead of putting lemon zest in, we'll be putting orange zest in today, which I'm sure it'll be fine, but we'll see. We have the 2 different batches. This is the Jaggery, and this is the soft brown sugar, light soft brown sugar, brown soft light sugar, whichever way around that is. So there is a difference. That one's just a little bit more grainy. That one's smooth, and I've added the eggs and I've added the flour, so it's not just the butter and the Jaggery and the sugar that we've creamed together. So it is proper cake mixture. So that's a little bit more grainy. I don't know what that means. This one is lighter and smoother. So let's give it a taste. I'm going to use my finger because I can, because I'm at home. You can certainly get that caramelly notes from the Jaggery. So then this one. There's not much difference in sweetness. I'm looking around for a cloth. There's not that much difference in sweetness, so we should be okay. We should be okay. So I'll quickly go through mixing the cake. So for every egg of cake mixture, you need half a pound of fruit. So there's three pounds of fruit in here, so it's all the mixed fruits. Now we might need to add a little bit more fruit, but we'll do that when we get to it. And then a wooden spoon. I always find a wooden spoon's best for mixing, because metal spoons just aren't strong enough. They want to bend. I don't know why. Well, there probably is a metal spoon out there that's strong enough to do this part of the mixing, but the mixer certainly wouldn't like this fruit in the mixer. It would maybe strain the motor a bit too much. So I'm best off doing it by hand and using a wooden spoon. I might add a bit more fruit. And I've got a part bag of, yeah, I'll add some more fruit. I've got a part bag of fruit which I'm loath to put back in the cupboard. I have put back in the cupboard, haven't I? No, okay. So we've got some extra sultanas, so we'll put in that many more sultanas in the oven, and then we'll put about the same in the oven. So they are, you know, you just get an idea of what the cake mixture should feel like. So, and it's a weight of dried fruit. Now, you've got to take into consideration that some dried fruits and candied peels and glassy cherries, their weight's going to be different for the volume that they are. So some are going to be denser, so it's going to be they're going to take up more of the weight, but not particularly the volume of the fruit that we need to put in. And it's really kind of like a volume of fruit that we need to be putting in. Anyway, so Where are we? So these, I'll put the recipe and the size of the loaf tins in the description. I am using some recycled baking parchment that I have used for other projects. I think the more times we can use something better. Yeah, everything costs money, you know, and we're throwing things away. We don't really want to do that. We want to be throwing less things away. So if I can cut down on the amount of baking parchment that I use, it's a winner all round for me. It's a winner all round. So, and then I'm not going to do the other cake on camera. We'll just do that, and then into the oven. What is it, 140 degrees for about 3 hours, something like that. And we'll put some baking parchment on top of the cake to protect it as well. So my mum used to wrap them up and tie them up in string and all kinds of things. It seems like such a palaver, to be honest. I'm just going to put a bit of baking parchment on top of the cake and tuck it underneath the loaf tin, and then that'll be enough of a protection. And I think that was probably down to, my mum did it that way because she got the recipe, and originally the recipe will have been for a cooker that wasn't just as reliable heat wise as a modern day cooker. You know, we cannot forget these things, that just because our cookers get to a certain temperature and the temperature they say is the temperature they say, that wasn't always the case in the past. And I'll show you what I'll do. Yeah, so I think my mum used to wrap them in multiple layers of baking parchment, well, probably greaseproof paper back in the day, and newspaper as well, and then tie it up, and that was probably just to make sure it got evenly cooked and protect on the outside, because they seemed to be in the oven for days when she cooked them. Maybe she was just making a bit of a meal of something that wasn't necessarily needing to make a meal of. So, right, I need a bit of baking parchment just to show you. So, baking parchment, get that one out of the way. And what I'll do in the oven, instead of tying it up, which is unnecessary, we'll just wrap it and use the weight of the cake to hold the baking parchment in place, because it's going to be in a fan oven. But anyway, so we'll mix all the other cakes together. We'll make sure we know which cakes are which, and then we're back in about 3 hours, and then we'll let them cool and give them a taste and see what we think. We've had 3 hours. I reckon they're ready. Yeah, that's ready. So that's one that was made with soft brown sugar, light soft brown sugar. Oh, and this is the Jaggery one. It's caramelised more. Or has it caramelised? Has it caramelised, and was it more a case that there was more natural caramel flavour in the Jaggery? Maybe. So we've got 4. Let's turn the oven off. And let's just have a better look. Yeah, they seem fine. They've certainly risen. They're certainly cakey. They're coming away from the... It's probably a sign that they're slightly over. They're coming away from the paper relatively easy. But the thing about rich fruit cakes is there's loads of moisture in them, so if you slightly overcook them, you're going to store them for a couple of months anyway. So they do, if they're a little bit dry on the outside, the moisture spreads out to the outside from the inside. So they look fine. We'll let them cool, and then we'll cut into them. I don't think we need to cut into those, but we'll certainly cut into that and have a look at them. Let's cut into the cake. Now, I was thinking, I just shaved Jaggery. I just kind of went down it with a knife like that, shaved bits off, and then just mixed it in with the butter in the mixer. So and it blended in relatively easy, but you just shave it down. Now I have noticed here that what seems to be happening is that at the top there is getting lighter and I suspect that any kind of liquid is, through the force of gravity, is pooling, is going to be pooling at the bottom. So at the top it's going to just be left with sugar crystals, and down the bottom will be potentially, if there is much liquid in there, a syrup will kind of come out of it. But anyway, that's by the by. Let's have a look at this. So this is the Jaggery one, or one of the Jaggery ones. It's a lot darker, but I think that's just down to the Jaggery. If we look at, let me see in the packet. Yeah, so the Jaggery is naturally darker than the soft brown sugar, so that's probably where that comes from. It was on a different shelf in the oven. In the onion. It's not in an onion. It's in the oven. The oven is a little bit temperamental at the moment. It's probably on its last legs. It'll be 20 years old, so it might be the thermostat might not be as accurate as it used to be. But anyway, so we'll cut into. Seems harder than normal cake. But there we go. That's all nice and dark inside, isn't it? As it tastes. We'll have to cut into the other one now, won't we, and see. That's lovely. That's lovely. That will only get better with age. Right, so we'll cut into the end of this as well, and then we'll just get an idea. I see much lighter, but still, you can see all the fruit and things. So, how does it taste compared to the Jaggery one? Not as caramelised. Well, that caramelised flavour comes from the Jaggery, but just not as rich. A lighter cake, which I prefer actually. So, Jaggery works. If you've got it, don't know what to do with it, make a cake out of it. And then what were the other things we put in? We'll put in the different fruits. The papaya, you're just going to think it's like a candied fruit in there. You're not really going to taste it's papaya. And then obviously the cranberries, and then the fruit from the gin will all make a really nice fruit cake. But there we go. A delicious success.